For nearly 300,000 years, humans left almost nothing permanent behind. We survived, we migrated, we adapted, but we did not move stone blocks weighing tons. We did not build ritual complexes. We did not carve symbolic systems into pillars. Then, around 12,000 years ago, almost suddenly, we did. And it happened right after one of the most violent climate disruptions in the recent geological history. The timing is not ordinary. Modern humans have existed for roughly 300,000 years. For most of that time, we were not building cities. We were not farming. We were not dominant. Genetic studies show something unusual about our species. Compared to many animals, even chimpanzees, humans carry remarkably low genetic diversity. Low diversity does not happen in stable populations. It usually signals something else: a bottleneck, a period when population collapses to a dangerously small number. Some genetic models suggest that at certain points in prehistory, the effective breeding populations of humans may have fallen to just a few thousand individuals. Not millions, thousands. One controversial 2023 population study even proposed that around 900,000 years ago, human ancestors may have dropped below 1,300 breeding individuals for over 100,000 years. That specific model is debated, but the broader pattern is not. Ice Age climate instability repeatedly pushed human groups to the edge of survival. And then came another shock. Around 12,900 years ago, the planet entered a sudden and dramatic cooling phase known as the Younger Dryas. In Greenland ice core records, particularly the GISP2 and NGRIP cores, temperature proxies suggest a drop of 8 to 10 degrees Celsius within a matter of decades. Not centuries, decades. In geological terms, that is abrupt. Sea levels fluctuated. Glacial conditions returned in parts of the northern hemisphere. Rainfall patterns shifted. Ecosystems destabilized rapidly. Across North America, large mammoths, giant ground sloths disappeared. In parts of the Levant, early semi-sedentary communities show evidence of stress and reorganization. The Natufian culture, which had begun experimenting with settled life, appears to fragment during this climatic reversal. Humans groups were forced to adapt again. The trigger remains debated. Some researchers argue that massive meltwater pulses disrupted the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation. Others propose an extraterrestrial impact hypothesis, citing microspherules and platinum anomalies found at several sites. That impact theory is controversial. But the instability itself is not. For communities already living close to environmental limits, this would not have been a minor fluctuation. It would have been existential. And then something shifts. The climate stabilizes around 11,700 years ago, marking the beginning of Holocene, the epoch in which all known civilization develops. During the Younger Dryas, archaeological layers in several regions show abandonment, reorganization, mobility shifts, and then, within a few thousand years of stabilization, we see permanent architecture, organized ritual center, early agriculture expanding. The pattern is striking. instability, then construction. Across multiple early civilizations, we find narratives of catastrophic flooding. In Mesopotamia, the Epic of Gilgamesh tells of Utnapishtim, warned of a great flood, tasked with preserving life. In Hebrew tradition, Noah builds an ark before water erased the old world. In India, the tale of Manu describes a divine warning, a great deluge, and the preservation of knowledge through survival. These stories do not describe gradual climate change, they describe rupture, reset. And while myths are not scientific documents, they offer encode environmental memory. Sea levels did rise dramatically between 12,000 and 8,000 years ago by over 100 meters globally. Coastlines shifted, habitats vanished, entire regions were submerged. Human populations would have been displaced repeatedly. When displacement happens, knowledge travels. When stability returns, that knowledge reorganizes. When the Younger Dryas ends, around 11,700 years ago, Earth enters the Holocene, a period of unusual climate stability. For the first time in tens of thousands of years, temperature swings slow. Seasonal patterns stabilizes. Rainfall becomes more predictable. And within 1,000 of years, something extraordinary appears. In southern Anatolia, around 9600 BCE, massive T-shaped limestone pillars rise from the earth at Göbekli Tepe. Some weigh over 10 to 20 tons. They are arranged in circular enclosures carved with animals. There is no clear evidence of large-scale agriculture at the site. Yet, this is a monumental architecture. Before cities, before pottery, before metal. This is not a gradual staircase of development. This is a leap. And Göbekli Tepe is not alone. In the Levant, Jericho develops defensive wall and a stone tower by around 8000 BCE. In South Asia, Mehrgarh shows early agricultural communities forming by 7000 BCE. Along the Nile, organized settlements patterns begin consolidating. In China's Yellow River Basin, millet farming communities expand. Within a geological blink of climatic stability, permanent human architecture spreads across multiple regions. If we compress 300,000 years of human existence into a single calendar year, for most of that year, humans lived as mobile foragers. Permanent civilization appears in the final minutes of December 31st. That is acceleration. We endure near collapse, we survive climatic shock, we enter stability, and almost immediately we build. That pattern is difficult to ignore. Archaeologists offer grounded explanations. One theory suggests that cognitive capacity had long been present, but environmental stability finally allowed large-scale cooperation. Another argues that agriculture created surplus, and surplus allowed specialization. These explanations are not unreasonable. But there is another possibility, one that appears quietly across cultures, the possibility of memory. Not written memory, oral memory. Stories preserved across generations, after environmental shock, after displacement, after near collapse. Humans did not begin from zero. They carried fragments. Fragments of technique, fragments of ritual, fragments of astronomical awareness, fragments of survival strategy. And this is where something else enters the conversation. Collapse and creativity appear closely linked in human history. Instability followed by transformation. Near disappearance followed by acceleration. Civilizations did not rise in a straight line. It pulsed. It fractured. It reassembled. It advanced. If disruption once reshaped humanity, then perhaps progress is not erased by collapse. Perhaps it is reconfigured. We are not simply the result of a slow evolution. We may be the result of survival cycles. And if that is true, that the question is no longer, did we almost disappear? The question is, what did we carry forward that we no longer remember?